Good evening, everybody. ערב טוב לכולם. A few weeks ago, we met Dariusz via the Zoom in the house of the Polish ambassador in Israel. And at the end of the meeting, I told Dariusz that I will try to do two things. First, to have him with us in the Zoom to present his activity. And second, to meet him face to face. So the first promise is today. The second will be on the beginning of August. All of you will join us to our seminar in Poland. Return to Poland. We'll have the chance to meet Dariusz. Let's start with the Dariusz story.
W kajakarstwie najpiękniejsza jest wolność, kiedy czuję to przyjemne uczucie prędkości połączonej z siłą mięśni. Jestem olimpijczykiem, jestem wieloletnim reprezentantem Polski. Nie miałem pojęcia, że na rzece, na której trenuję, na której bywam, że kilka metrów dalej jest opuszczony cmentarz. Cmentarz, który tak naprawdę odmieni moje życie.
To cmentarz, o którym mówiło się niewiele albo wcale. Zapomniane miejsce w Krościenku nad Dunajcem. Pochowano tutaj setki Żydów zamieszkujących okolice Pienin, z czego najwięcej w wyniku zagłady dokonanej przez nazistów w 1942 roku. Dariusz Popiela, siedmiokrotny mistrz Polski i wicemistrz Europy w kajakarstwie górskim, zainteresował się losami tego miejsca. Historia to po kajakarstwie jego druga pasja.
Kiedy pierwszy raz wszedłem na teren cmentarza, tutaj leżała przewrócona brama, zardzewiała. Cały płot wzdłuż leżał na ziemi, a tutaj były chaszcze, po prostu ciernie.
Jak tu pierwszy raz byłem nie tak dawno, troszkę mi się przykro i smutno zrobiło.
Teren wyglądał generalnie jak dżungla, był bardzo zaniedbany. Ciężko było w ogóle się zorientować, że tutaj kiedykolwiek był cmentarz.
Więc bardzo, bardzo mnie to uderzyło i postanowiłem coś z tym zrobić.
Dlatego zaczynamy działać.
Wiedziałem po wyjściu z tego cmentarza, że wrócę tutaj.
Kajakarz zaczął odnajdywać i poznawać historię Żydów zamieszkujących Krościenko nad Dunajcem. Chciał przywrócić o nich pamięć i przekazać innym informacje o mordzie w 1942 roku. Pracował w wolnym czasie między treningami.
Rozpocząłem od przeszukiwania archiwów, drążenia tematu. Myślę, że jedną z takich tragiczniejszych historii to jest relacja Mundka Buchsbauma. Zobaczył ciężarówkę. Z tej ciężarówki jest sprowadzany jego brat. Niemcy rozstrzelali w tym dniu 11 Żydów z Krościenka. Wśród nich był właśnie brat Mundka Buchsbauma.
Historia Liby to była dziewczynka, która miała 6 miesięcy, jak została zamordowana tutaj na Kirkucie przez SS-mana, który roztrzaskał jej głowę o mur cmentarny. To jest przerażająca historia.
Zginęło 256 osób. Na całą społeczność w Krościenku przeżyło tylko 8 osób.
Początkowo na terenie zapomnianego cmentarza Dariusz Popiela chciał postawić tylko symboliczną tablicę informującą o tragicznych losach społeczności. Jednak determinacja kajakarza i pomoc lokalnego działacza pozwoliły na stworzenie czegoś większego.
Razem z Kubą po prostu zakasaliśmy rękawy i kościliśmy, układaliśmy tu kamienie. No, uczestniczyliśmy w pracach fizycznie.
Trochę mu dałam wolnego czasu. Ja jestem w pracy, dzieci są w szkole, w przedszkolu. On między treningami gdzieś wyjeżdżał, coś tam robił. Czasem droga z Krakowa na przykład nie trwa 1,5 godziny, tylko 4 do 5 godzin.
Dzięki pomocy finansowej licznych fundacji oraz indywidualnych darczyńców na terenie cmentarza postawiono pomnik z nazwiskami ofiar. Białe kamienie wyznaczyły miejsce masowego pochówku, a cmentarz dodatkowo został ogrodzony płotem. Historią krościeńskich Żydów Dariusz Popiela zarażał również innych. Kajakarz rozpoczął serię spotkań z uczniami okolicznych szkół.
Dzień dobry, dzień dobry. Witam, dzień dobry, cześć. Witam was serdecznie, wszystkich.
Każde spotkanie to jest niesamowity kontakt z uczniami, łapię go bardzo szybko, przez to, że czuć jego pasję, to się po prostu czuje, to jak dobry nauczyciel. Do tego ma niesamowitą wiedzę, której można mu zazdrościć.
Jako sportowiec po prostu takie mam filozofię w życiu i takie podejście, że właśnie, żeby jak coś robić, to powiedzmy tak na maksa.
Potrafi o bardzo trudnych tematach opowiedzieć w bardzo łatwy i przystępny sposób. Podziwiam go nie jako mojego męża, tylko jako człowieka. I nawet się czasem śmieję, że nawet jakbyśmy nie byli małżeństwem, to chciałabym, żeby ten człowiek był w moim otoczeniu, ponieważ ma taką aurę, jest fantastycznym człowiekiem.
Myślę, że u Darku najważniejsze jest to, że wie, że są rzeczy ważne i ważniejsze.
W czerwcu zeszłego roku nastąpiło odsłonięcie pomnika. Do Krościenka z całego świata, m.in. ze Stanów Zjednoczonych i Australii, przyjechali bliscy nielicznych ocalałych.
Poleciała mi ta łza. Tak samo w momencie, kiedy wyczytywaliśmy każdego z imienia i nazwiska podczas uroczystości, to był taki moment, dla którego robiłem ten projekt i dla którego wiedziałem, że było po prostu warto. To, że my dzisiaj możemy przywrócić chociaż jeden życiorys z powrotem, to jest triumf, moim zdaniem, dobra, nie zła i to mi przyświeca najbardziej. Nie ukrywam, że zajmowanie się historią Żydów polskich bardzo często jest płynięciem pod prąd. Jest bardzo wiele stereotypów, bardzo dużo niezrozumienia. Może te projekty też by nie były możliwe, gdyby nie to, że mam taki zadzior sportowca i bez względu na wszystko nie ma poddawania się i walka jest do samego końca. Po prostu w życiu, jak i na wodzie, płynę pod prąd.
Dariusz, thank you for being with us this evening, and we are waiting for you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for invitation. I am very happy to see this movie because usually I don't heard such a nice opinion about myself because as you saw, I am also a kayaker. You know, I am a sportsman. And usually I heard, even today at training, in the morning I was in Krakow, I was doing training. So usually at training it's this wrong, make it better. So all the time critic. So it's nice to hear something nice, but it's true. I am involved in the topic, in the mission. For me, it's a mission. For some other people, it's a topic, it's a subject. For me, it's a mission. It's a part of myself to fight about the memory. Yeah? And it starts from the river, in fact, because all my life was involved in the river. And the moment when I realized about my Jewish neighbors, was very, very late. I finished primary school, I finished high school, and I have no idea about my Jewish neighbors. And it was something, the day when I realized, I still remember that day, it was shock for me because I realized in my city, in Nowy Sącz, because the movie was about Krościenko, but my hometown is Nowy Sącz. In Nowy Sącz, 1/3 of the citizens were Jewish. And because I am an athlete, I representing Poland at many races, at many sports events. For me, the eagle on my head, the flag, the Polish flag, is not just some material or just some symbol. It's something deeper. Yeah. So for me, I was trying to understand what it is to represent your country. It's just the great card in the history. It's just, let's say, patriotic propaganda, or it's something deeper. Yeah, and I realized that in my story, that, like I said, I was in high school, and at this all levels of education, I didn't heard anything about Jewish citizens from Nowy Sącz. We heard about the ghetto uprising, about Auschwitz-Birkenau. I knew about it. I always knew about that, but I have no idea about Jewish people from my hometown. And the moment when I realized, it was shock. It was for me something what changed my life. Like I said, the cemetery changed my life in Krościenko. So this moment also was very important. Because at the site when we usually train, in Nowy Sad, between two bridges at Dunajec River, it's a place where the generation and generation of kayakers are practicing. And I realized that in the same area, the last view that the Jew of Nowy Sad have seen was exactly this place, because the Germans concentrate all Jewish citizens in this area. And for me, it was shock, because I was walking there with the kayak, and I have no idea about it. And I come back when I was 21, with this knowledge to my city. And for me, it was different city. I wrote one book in my hometown library. It was about Jewish, wrote by Jew who survived from Holocaust, and he wrote amazing book about the world before the war. And for me, it was something unbelievable. The streets have different view, different faces, different. All was different afterwards, and my first impression was, okay, so such a big tragedy, for sure there is some monument in my city where I can go pray and like this. I check on Google, and there was nothing. So it surprised me. At the beginning, I have no ideas about the Jewish history, about the relation between the Jew and Christian in my country. So for me, it was shock. How it's possible? The half of the city disappeared and there is no memory. So for me, it was something unacceptable. I want to go there to pray, to light the candle, and there was no such a place. And how it's possible. And afterwards, I start to my education process. I was trying to read as much book as is possible about the Holocaust, the scientist book, scientist research about Holocaust. It was my obsession. Because I suppose that afterwards, when I will find this knowledge, it will be enough, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. It was still something. Don't give me the patience, And then one day, because you can maybe ask the question why Krościenko, my physiology professor told me that in this area in Krościenko, there is a Jewish cemetery, and I told him it's impossible, because I was training there when I was youth, and there was just a mountain on the other side of the road, no cemetery, for sure no cemetery. And he told me, go there, you will find it. And there was only one matzeva instead of hundreds of them. It should be few hundreds of matzeva, but it is there just one. And it was big shock for me, because it was a meadow, not a cemetery. And then it started idea in my head. My friend gave me contact to Karolina Pans, Dr. Karolina Pans. Now she is a famous scientist. She display the forgotten story of Jew from Podhale district, from Nowy Targ, from these all small villages in her scientist works, publication. She also wrote very important articles about post-war period and what was going on in this area between the Christian and Jew. So she is now for me very important person, and she is a member of the People Not Number project. And Karolina learned me a lot about the Jewish history. And after Krościenko, we already made another project in Grybów, where we commemorate 700,000 citizens. After Grybów, there was Czarny Dunajec, where we commemorate 500 Jewish citizens, 494 exactly. Each, as you can see, each photography display the family from this town, Jewish family, and this is the part of our idea, part of our project, to show people their neighbors from these villages, from these cities, with faces, with history, with their dreams, ideas, their profession, their beliefs, and as many things that we can bring back to the memory. And right now it's a third part of our project in the city of Nowy Targ in Podhale district, and usually the cemetery where we start our work looks like this. Yeah, this is the cemetery in Grybów. In Czarny Dunajec it was a meadow. Yeah, so usually I start with this level of forgotten, in fact, because I always display the forgotten Jewish cemetery to our knowledge. In the villages and city where the cemetery look like this, usually there is no memory about the Jewish people. Yeah, and this is something what I want to start in the small villages, cities, to change this situation. And as you can see at the photo above, this was the situation in Krościenko. This is the mass graves. In fact, few mass graves. And for me, it's no right to. I say no to situation like at the photo above. And this situation that the graves look like this is in many places, yeah, around Poland. Yeah, you can compare, yeah, how it was before, how is later. This is from Krościenko. Now we are in Czarny Dunajec. As you can see on the photo below, this cemetery was like meadow. This is after our work, so it looks quite nice, but there are no macevas. There should be hundreds of macevas, and there is not even single one. Just in fact, the part of one maceva was at the cemetery. So it's a very sad picture. Yeah, and on the picture above you can see the transition, the change. But we will be back afterwards to this photo. So idea is to put the monument, but not just monument. We complicate our work because our idea is to put all the names and surnames of the victims on our monument. That's our goal. And in each of the city, especially in the Podhale district, because there are the archives, there are the lists of the citizens, and this is why I am working in Podhale district, because usually in Poland such a list doesn't exist with the victims, with the Holocaust victims. Yeah, so this is very important list because it's made by the Jewish Judenrat. Yeah, till the August 1942 in Podhale district, the Jewish Judenrat made the list of the citizens in each single city. So even small villages have the list of the citizens, which is amazing. So we are, when Carolina realized me that we have such a list and we can do something bigger, we can do something more important. I don't say that a single commemoration is not important. Every commemoration is important, but we can show to the local community what was the scale of the Holocaust in their hometown, because they usually don't realize. My idea is to bring the local community to this cemetery, to show them that this is not meadow, not the jungle. There are a lot of stereotypes. Sometimes people are afraid to walk inside the Jewish cemetery because there are ghosts, because there are different beliefs. Yeah, so priest will be not happy, and so on, so on. So we we need to fight with such a stereotype, especially in the small villages. In the big city, it's completely different story. So that's why we invite the priest, we invite rabbi, we invite the local politics, and this is very important. As you can see, this man in the hat, it's a major of Krościenko. And first day, he supposed I am coming to him with some kayak ideas, because he was former kayaker from Krościenko, and he didn't expect that I will ask him about the Jewish cemetery. He was the owner, in fact, the city of Krościenko is the owner of this cemetery. And he was very surprised. And he told me, first reaction was, Mr. Dariusz, maybe don't do it, because the Jew will come and they will take their properties. Yeah, and you know, for me, it's hard to speak with such an opinion or with such a people. But I have mission, I have idea to do in this small village, and I need to speak in this same, let's say, type of conversation. So I asked him the question, Mr. Major, do you know how many people were murdered in your city? Do you know how many Jewish citizens were survived? And he said, no, I have no idea. I say, I explained him. It was just 8 single people. So and we have contact with 2 families. So don't worry, Mr. Major. Of course, I can explain him by the law how it works and like this, but he don't expect this. Yeah, you know, he expects single explanation. So I say, these 2 families, they are not interested to have back your properties. Yeah, not your, because it was their properties before. So this is stereotype. Yeah, and I was happy because this same man, this same guy, after at our ceremony, when he have a speech, when he spoke to the guest, he welcomed the descendant, and he said, welcome in your homeland, welcome in your city. And it was my little success that, you know, we start with the stereotype, and then he realized that this cemetery is also part of the city history. As I mentioned, we invite the people who can also show the local community how important is this place. So that's why Rabbi Shudrich usually is coming to our commemoration. Consul, how you say in English, ambassador of Germany, as well, and it's important because we are showing to the local community that we stand all together for the memory of the victims. So this is one of idea of our project. And here you see photo from Grybów. For me, it's a very important photo because when with each project I am very involved. For me, it's a part of my life. And when we start project in Grybów, we have a dream that maybe few people will walk up to the hill because cemetery is on the hill next to the city. So we have a dream that if we will see few people, 10, maybe 15, it will be something amazing. In Grybów, there was a 500 people, so it was something unbelievable for me. We commemorate all victims. We read all them with name and surname. It was very, very important moment for me. And local community have opportunity to be at the cemetery, to see the very important event with the people that I said before. There are always descendants, for example, Mr. Howard Unger from New York, the descendant of family of Unger, of Herbach as well. He was also at this cemetery in 1990 after communism collapsed with his father. They want to find out the graves of their families, family, and unfortunately it was impossible because it was impossible to walk in. There was such a jungle, and Howard with his father, they were crying. He told me this when we meet. He told me that they they spoke with father that they will never come again to Poland. They have really a bad experience. And then after quite a lot of time, after nearly 20 years, the Polish citizens invite them for the ceremony in memory of their families. And Howard arrived with his family, and he was crying, but with completely different emotion than in 1990. It was something which I didn't expect when I was just cleaning the cemetery in Krościenko. Day by day, the idea with the project grow up, and such a thing was something unexpected. Here you can see the descendant. For them, this day is very important because it's a symbolic funeral for this all Holocaust victims. Here you can see, I don't know if you can, I will just show you. I just want to show you this short, it was 5 minutes interview also with Mr. Howard. He's just right here. He showed at the monument the family members, and he say, I am a from Grybów. This is my family hometown. And what's also very important in this short interview, it was a very important television in Poland, TVN. And in the morning, they were live from the Jewish cemetery in Grybów. If someone will told me 2 or 3 years ago that there will be television, the breakfast television at the weekend, Sunday, many people start the day with this television, and we will speak about the Jewish citizens and our commemoration. I will say, no way, it's impossible, but it was possible, and it was something really amazing. Very important, why it was amazing, not that I was in television, because as a sportsman, as an athlete, I don't search for the some famous to be famous or something like this. I don't. In fact, I have many stages in my career. When I was young, for me, maybe it was important, but afterwards I realized that to be famous is nothing special. In fact, let's say this way. But it was important that because of this television, people realized that they have Jewish cemetery in their city, and many people before ceremony come to me up to this hill, and they told me, Mr. Dariusz, I saw you in television. I didn't knew that in our city it's a Jewish cemetery. I had a problem with this because for me, maybe breakfast television is no place for to chat about the Holocaust. But from the other hand, in Poland, we need a lot of education, and some people will never read the book about the Holocaust or about the victims, but they will watch the breakfast television. And I think it's also some idea to bring the minimum of the knowledge to them. We meet with the youth today. Before in the morning I was in Kraków doing training. In the noon I was already in Nowy Targ to meet with the 3 groups of youth in the school, something like military school. And I chat for 3 hours with 3 groups. Afterwards, I explain. I was also in Czarny Dunajec. We were searching for some macevas, and then afterwards, I was in Nowy Sącz, and I was now I'm chatting with you. So today was the project day, full day, and this is very important that we are trying to involve the young people. I didn't have such a opportunity on my way. I was, let's say, quite old. I was 21, 22, and I realized about the Jewish story. They have now, on this picture, they are 13, 14, so they are in a little bit better position. Yeah, so so it works like this. Usually we go with the with teenager, with youth. We visiting Bełżec, yeah, which is very important. The director of the school and major many times ask me, why Bełżec? What is Bełżec? I say, yeah, now you know why we are going there, because you have no idea what it was, and your citizens were murdered there. So that's why we are going there. Also to the director of the school, they are usually answer that yeah, we are going to Auschwitz nearly every year. So why Bełżec? And I said, yeah, Auschwitz is very important, but the scholars from how you say, the kids from your school were murdered in this place, because in many schools they are the same school that before the war, this same building, this same name, and the Jewish citizens were also part of the school life. Yeah, so this is how I also try to explain them. And usually it's important that at the Bełżec monument that there are cities, yeah, and the children, the youth, they see that, okay, here is my city on this monument, but in my city there is no memory, yeah, and then sometimes it starts to some process in their head, yeah, so it's very important. In Podhale district where we are acting, this photo was very important, because this family is they are wearing Highlanders let's say uniform clothes, yeah, and then for people it's a shock, because usually they suppose that the Jewish citizens, they have completely different culture, completely different language, and in fact they have a very small connection to the local people, which is completely not true. This photo was very, very important. Many people were surprised. It started some discussion in the city, in the village, so it was very important. And I always show, even today in this military school, I told them that they should concentrate on this little guy in front, yeah, Shlomo Horowitz from Czarny Dunajec. He at this photo he is around maybe 7, maybe 8 years old, and after a few years he changed uniform. He changed uniform for the Polish soldier. He was fighting in the 1949 campaign, yeah, against Nazi, as well, like 130,000 of Jewish soldiers, yeah, and for it is also some stereotypes in Poland that Jew didn't fight and so on. So I also try to show them on other examples that it's completely not true, and these old people were also in the Polish military, which is very, very important in our project. We are also because we work in many archives. We start from the Polish archives, Yad Vashem, Bad Arolsen, Washington, in Scotland as well, everywhere where we can find even small part of information about the Jewish citizens, and sometimes we find out the whole story, which is at the beginning quite. For example, with this photo, I was sure that we had just photo from the Kenkarta, yeah, from the ID during the occupation period, made in Krakow, and I was sure that this is one of the Holocaust victim, and we never find out her story. And in fact, she was from Czarny Dunajec. Her name is Alfreda Bachner, and she died last year before our ceremony. But we have now contact with her family. She was living in Germany in the city Hof, and it was some miracle. I wrote some article about her smile. I was just imagine what happened to this girl, and then we find out all history. She was in Auschwitz-Birkenau. Her story was very, very hard, very difficult, and now we know everything about Alfreda. as well, like many stories which we show to the people in the local community. In the area where I work, we are saying, the scientists say something like it was Holocaust by the window, let's say, or by the wall, because the Christian neighbors, there was no ghettos in the small villages, there was no ghetto in the city in this area. The Jewish citizens and Christian citizens live side by side, wall by wall, till the end. And the Christian citizens are the usually only witness of this tragic day. In the Podhale district, we are talking about 28th of, let's say, August 1942, because in many villages it was different day, but it's all start usually in August in Małopolska, in Podhale district, especially in August 1942. And the story of Nathan and Gittel Neugewirth, we know from the Christian point of view, the Christians saw it by his window, yeah, and the Nazi, the one of the Gestapo member during this sad day of 28th of August, which was the day in Czarny Dunajec when the Jewish people were sent to Belzec, first to the Nowy Targ, and then 30th of August they were sent to Belzec, and these two, Nathan and Gittel, these two grandparents, yeah, we know from the Christian neighbors that the Gestapo member took them out from the house. Mr. Nathan just have time to shake hand of the Gittel, and then they were murdered at their garden. And why I am saying this, because from this moment the whole story, it's also story of the Christian citizens in the small villages, because the body of the victims, it's not like before. For example, there were some shooting in April 1942, and usually the Jewish community were caring about the burial, about such a thing. And now there are no Jews in the area. They are all in Belzec, and the Christian neighbors are carrying the bodies to the cemetery, and we are the next generation that is trying to bring back the memory about them, which is, I think, very important. At our monument, what is the main goal of my foundation, of our 1 year work? Usually people think that we are just cleaning the cemetery, and I always explain this is one of the points, but the most important is this list. We usually put name, surname, and where it's possible we also put age, which is very important, because the local community can realize that they are not just the stereotypes name called Jew. It's not just a number, 3 million of Polish Jews, 6 million of Holocaust victims, because the numbers don't say anything. We cannot imagine, I think, 2,000 murdered people, and we are talking about the millions. So when you see such a list, and you are from the small village, you see that this is not just one or two or some or something like this, or the stereotype name. You can see children, grandfather, grandmother, mother. You see all families were murdered, and then it started to change the mentally in this small area, and I think it's something which I didn't expect, but have quite big impact. And here you can see the two plaques were made in Czarny Dunajec. During our project, we also find out Maceva. As I told you, at cemetery in Czarny Dunajec, there was no single Maceva. Right now, the story is completely different, because at the backyards, in many backyards we find out macevas, and it was shock for me. And in the Podhale district, the people cooperate very, very well. I am very surprised. We have no problems to bring back macevas at cemetery. And for my generation and for generation, let's say around the 50 years old, it's something hard to explain how people can have at the backyard the Jewish macevas. Yeah, for me it was also shock, but I know the story of the cemeteries in Poland as well, and I knew that this maceva don't have legs and they didn't run out from cemetery, but it was some of them disappeared during the occupation, and the Germans took them, but mostly, especially in the Podhale area, they disappeared after the war. They were used as a material. I am trying to find out explanation why it was like this. Of course, we can find such a idea, but it don't give you answer anyway. It shouldn't happen. Yeah. So for me, it's also mission to bring them back. And as you can see, we have group of volunteer. I start with one person in Czarny Dunajec. Now we have around 20 volunteers which are ready to act in the night, during the day. With one call, they are ready to act. And also at the cemetery, cemetery was also a place where the Germans murdered Jewish people. In the area like this, you can see it's a just meadow, but in this meadow there are a few mass graves, and we also with the Rabbinic Commission, we cooperate with Rabbi Shudrik, with Rabbinic Commission. And with the special methods, we find out such a places, and from the middle we transfer them to the dignity of victims. Of course, we will never knew the exactly the name and surname of the victims, or in which mass grave who is buried. Yeah, unfortunately. But I think it's something, the dignity and the memory of these people, we just need to act. We just need to do such a thing. And this is how the cemetery, how we transform it. And step by step, it was getting like it should be. And this is the final result, yeah, in Czarny Dunajec. And with the macevas that we find out, for me it was very important, because people didn't realize, the old people maybe yes, but the youth or generation in my age, they didn't knew that this is the cemetery. It was just a meadow. There was just the old fence, yeah, and because of this fence, people stop there sometimes just to put some trash, and that's it, yeah. So for me, it was very important to show everybody that there are macevas, yeah, and the central maceva is maceva that was made in Polish and Jewish language, because in Hebrew, yeah, because I suppose that maybe the reason why it was simple for people to take to store the maceva, in fact, it was the reason that they don't understand what is written there. But when I realized that we also find out the maceva in Polish, this argument was not anymore real one. Yeah? So, but for me, it is very important to show people how it is. Here you can see the transition. Yeah, this one on the right one was for nearly 80 years underground at the backyard, and on the left side how it was how originally how it looks like, and now it also looks exactly the same. Yeah, this is after conservation, after artist work on it. Yeah, and also here, as you can see, it was just a small piece at one of the backyard, and here you have, I think, name and surname of this person, for sure name, if I am right, and it was a young person, and we also of this small piece we can bring back memory about these Jewish citizens of Czarny Dunajec, yeah, and slowly we transform this place. The Maceva are in the place where it was cemetery house, yeah. I think in Hebrew it's Tahara, yeah, the place before the burial. So we could make there special lapidary. Each Maceva have explanation. It's also some lights during the night. So I think we changed this place completely. During our work, we also try to rebuild not rebuild, but we are trying to secure the old synagogue, the beautiful synagogue in Czarny Dunajec, which is in not such a bad shape. It's possible to walk inside to see how the area, the place inside, and I am fighting about to secure this place. I have with me the local mayor, which is trying also to find out some public money to rebuild the synagogue, and this is our goal, to make there some museum, to make there some place where the youth can have some cultural meeting, to show the local people that this place it's also very important, because now it's completely empty and nothing is going on there. And as you can see here is the small group of our activists. Last year, because of COVID, we didn't make exactly big commemoration, but we meet at the cemetery and we were read all name and surname, 494 people, and it was very special moment and important one. Here I will just show you this just 1 minute of movie, because last year the movie director, Mr. Wojciech Szumowski, made a documentary movie about, not about me, but about the project, about the situation in the small city, what is the stage of the memory, the next step of our project were part of this movie, and here is the small let's say teaser, yeah, of this movie.
Mama Shio, du kannst mich schon verstehen, du weißt schon, was ich mein.
Yeah, and it's also big shock for me that something like this is going on. We have some invitation to Australia with this movie. Also, we are trying to find some partner in Israel, and the premiere will be in Poland next year at the Krakow Festival, documentary festival, and it's also shock for me that something like this is it's going on, but many miracles are going on during my project, and it's something which changed, as you can see, my life, and we are acting this year. We are doing the commemoration in Nowy Targ, which is a very big challenge, because we will commemorate 20 over around 2,500,000 of people. Yeah, so 2,500. So it's a huge challenge because this is the biggest one. So this is how it works. Yeah, maybe we can start some. If you think so, Gil, maybe we can start some discussion, some question, because I don't. Yeah, I don't know what is interesting for you. It's completely different for youth, which have sometimes very strange question, and you know very well our ideas, yeah, our topics. So I think maybe we can discuss some. Maybe you have some question, maybe you have some ideas. So
before I will let them to ask, how many projects you have done until now?
Yeah, the People Not Number project with this name, it's a fourth one, yeah. But before I was acting in my hometown in Novi Sad. As I told you, I told to my friend, yeah, that if my daughter will finish 18 and there will be no monument in my city, I will leave my city. I don't want to live in the place where the memory is forgotten, yeah, about the Jewish people. And I think it's a chance that I will stay here, because in 2022, so next year, this year I already started all paperwork to make a big monument, not like at the cemetery. It's completely different idea. It's idea that we will commemorate in the old town, in the place where it was a ghetto. It will be monument also with the not names, because it's impossible to in Novi Sad to get 11,000 of name and surname, but each single family surname will be on our monument, and it's a huge project. It's a huge project, and we have city with us. This is very important, and we are also searching for funds. Yeah, but this is my all day, each day profession. I am searching for money. I am searching for the marketing things, because without this, we don't have any big institution with us. It's I am searching for grants. I am searching for opportunity also from the sport with some sponsors and like this. But yeah, I also commemorate some small commemoration in my hometown, like Jakub Miller. We put the special memory plaque at the cemetery in Novi Sad. If you will be there, you can see in front. At the main gate, there is a plaque dedicated to Jakub Miller, and it was funny story because usually I don't get money for the kayaking. Yeah? We don't have race for the money like tennis, football, and so on. Our prize is a shake of hand and the medal, yeah, and that's it. And at this time in my city was first one until today the last one race for the money. And I told to my friend, which is now the doctor of history, the specialist in the Jewish history, and I told him, Łukasz, if I will win this race, we will put the Jakub plaque into the cemetery. And I won this race, and I put all money to this. It was not big money. It was around, let's say, 500 euro, maybe 400 euro, 400 euro, yeah. And but it was enough for the plaque, yeah. And we made it. And slowly we also start to do the commemoration of ghetto liquidation of Jewish citizens. Year by year, we start with 4 people. It was funny because I always light the candle at the day of liquidation, and I also saw the other candle, yeah. And I was very interesting who also light the candle, yeah. And one day I meet Łukasz, and our story started, and now we also act together, also with Artur, the third one. And slowly we transform some knowledge in our city. It's of course micro scale, because till we don't start the important education in the school, then this is just small steps. But it's always something, And now, before the COVID, at our commemoration, it was around 300, 400 people. It's also not about the numbers, because it's not so important if you realize that in Nowy Sącz there is around 80,000 people. Yeah, so maybe it's not a big number, but if there was no memory, we slowly transform this mental. Yeah, so this is I think also important. So now I am involved in few projects. Also we want to commemorate Jew from the labor camp not far away from my city. In 1 month there will be also small monument dedicated to them. And this Tuesday, at the next Tuesday, 15th of June, there is a commemoration because one of the grave of the Holocaust victims, two teenagers, Rachela and Salomea, Korzennik and Pacher, the owner of the ground where was the grave, there was a fright that the grave will be destroyed, and the rabbinic commission say we need to act, we need to stop the devastation. And this Tuesday will be the ceremony that the girl will be they will be at the not anymore in some forgotten place and afraid that their burial will be destroyed. We took them to the Jewish cemetery in Tarnów. We built a really beautiful monument dedicated to these two girls, and they will be not forgotten. Now they have one of the prettiest matsevas in the Tarnów cemetery. So there are a lot of projects that I am trying to be a part, and slowly. We are looking forward, and I hope my foundation or let's say project will grow up. It's not easy also to act because there is still a lot of stereotypes. But yeah, from sport, I don't care about the hate speech or something. It's I used to, and for me it's clear that we need to act. And I always tell to people it's not about Netanyahu, Kaczynski, or some political things, because people sometimes say, the Jewish people should do this, they should clean cemetery and so on. I say these all victims that they are buried in these mass graves, tell them that you will not act because of Netanyahu or Kaczynski or doesn't matter, political reason. For me, it's some strange explanation, and I don't accept this. So I hope I will have enough power to act in the future.
My second question before I open the stage, how we can duplicate you?
Duplicate? I don't know. I don't know. I have no answer for this question. But in fact, maybe. What is very important in Poland, there is a lot of, when I am acting in this whole city, in this whole villages, there are always people that they care about the Jewish citizens. So there are many versions of Dariusz, but sometimes from some reason they are afraid. They are afraid to act. Sometimes they are alone in the community. They are afraid what will say priest, what will say the major, why they start this subject. Yeah, and our project give them a power, because I am from outside, but without these people, without the local volunteers, I will also don't do anything, because I will be someone from outside that he is trying to change their mentality. So my idea is to act together, to give power each other. I need them, they need me. To act, and this is very important. So there are, I have such a quote during my work that the best people I met in my life, I met at the cemetery. And I don't know how it works, but the people who are involved in this all action, in this all bringing back memory, they have such an amazing heart and such a such a, I don't know how to say, the empathy. They are really, all of them, they are my friends. We have good connection, good contact. And it's something very important to me that we have such a group now. Yeah, there is a small family of people not numbered. And now when we are doing some cleaning of cemetery, for example, in Nowy Targ, they are coming people from Kraków, Warsaw, Jasło, and we have some family from completely different points in Poland, different city and so on. So for me, it's something, some miracle, because I didn't expect it. Yeah, I didn't know anything about the Jewish history. I didn't know anything about halacha. Now I can say that some part, especially dedicated to the cemetery, I know something. Yeah, but I still learn. I'm still in progress. So yeah, it's like this. So I think there are many Dariusz, but I need to give them the power to act, yeah, and I try to do this, yeah. So as I said, Carolina, there is a lot of amazing people, but just together we can, in fact, change it for a little bit bigger scale, let's say, especially in the south of Poland, yeah, where we act.
Like Burnley said, not to duplicate you, multiplicate you.
Multiplicate.
And,
yeah, thank you.
And you know that I always said that we need as much as we can get local Michiganer. You know what is local Michiganer? Local crazy one like you.
Yeah.
Local Michiganer.
Yeah. I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
We need a lot of you. חברים, the floor is, if you want to ask, and you want to say something, my friends, my colleague, Hannah Arkin.
Thank you very much. I'm so exciting that I can't talk.
Okay. So it's a pleasure for me.
Yes, so exciting and very touching. And I have no words to thank you, but what you are doing.
Thank you very much. Usually, you know, day by day, I am always moving, always do something with the project, and usually there is no opportunity to speak with the audience like you, the people who care about it very much. Usually, I speak with the local community, and I am producing for 1 hour, and they still don't understand, for example, the major why I came to the town hall to speak about it. And then I need to explain that they were also the citizens of your city, for example. So sometimes it's not so easy to have understanding. So thank you for each good word. It's
people like you, like Gil said, Meshuga, crazy,
yes,
are changing the world.
Yeah, maybe
people like you, crazy like you, are changing the world.
You know, it's maybe too big word, because I work in the small village in south of Poland, for example. But in my opinion, when we need to start, it's a progress. Maybe one day, if we don't start, we can always say, maybe one day. But when we start, maybe there is a chance that something will change. I don't feel as a hero or something special when you think about it. And when I spend hours, I many times I drive alone in my car. I have a lot of kilometers day by day. I do plenty, hundreds of kilometers, and sometimes I think very intensive during my trip, and I don't feel like a hero, because when you think about this whole story from the other side, the place where I live, when you think that it's possible to forget, that it's possible to put the Jewish people away from the local history, it's a very sad place to live, because from the other hand, we don't do anything special. We're caring about the memory. We are caring about the people who were murdered. Yeah, we are, in my opinion and in general opinion, yeah, we are on the right side. Yeah, we are not in Warsaw during the 11th of November with the nationalist march or fascist march. Yeah, I always say that, especially to the youth, if you want to fight with the Nazi, you have still opportunity these days, because when we commemorate the victims, we are giving the punch to the Nazi, because their ideology and idea was to disappear the Jew from the history as well. Yeah, and now in this small village you have monument with the hundreds of murdered people. So for me, it's a double motivation. Yeah, I always heard the story from my grandfather about the war, about the partisan war, and so on, so on. Also about the Jewish neighbors, but it was late, because when my grandfather was sick, I already have the knowledge about the Jewish citizens. I also asked him what he remembered, and he remembered the ghetto. He remembered some Jewish boys from the ghetto. So suddenly I realized that also he had some experience, and before he never told me about it. Yeah. So in my mind it works like this. If I can fight against the Nazi, I will use this opportunity, and for me the victims is the main goal, because people now are saying, okay, it's easy for you because your project is it's quite known, but for me it doesn't matter. If I can bring back even one person from forgotten, it's very important. Yeah, and when I realized that I do it for these old families, for these old children, was the day that I forget about the shame, what will say my priest, what will say, I don't know, my father, and so on. My father and my father-in-law, yeah, we have the plenty hour of discussion, because they say a lot of stereotypes about the Jew. And I was trying to explain them. It was naive, but at the end, I believe that dialogue is very important in this whole project. And we were, sometimes it was really hard discussion. Yeah, the neighbors knocking the door, it's too loud, take it easy, and like this. Yeah, but after a few months, my father-in-law, they are most involved people in the project. If I need something, they are ready to act. Yeah, so I believe in dialogue. I believe in that in Poland there is a huge work must be done. Yeah, but we need to start from education, and it will be also easier for people like me or other volunteers to act, because now people sometimes don't understand this whole story. Today the children make big eyes because they realize that so many children, for example, were the victims of the Holocaust. Yeah, they didn't expect. Many times when I am in the school, I ask, what do you think? How many Jewish people live this day in your city? Yeah? In Novi Sad, in one school, I heard 1,000, 3,000, 4,000, and I told them there is one Miss Anna, which is she is my friend, yeah, Miss Anya, and this is just only one Jew in my city, yeah? And in their imagination, I don't know how it started, but they have in the heads that there are a lot of Jews in our city, and it's completely not true, yeah. So there must be done huge work. Of course, now the political situation it's completely not so easy. Because now it's a 1 hour about the Holocaust in the high school. So 45 minutes about Holocaust. What you can learn in 45 minutes? You can tell about the death camps, maybe the name of the death camps, and some small, I can say even basic knowledge. It's nothing. Yeah, in fact, and and sometimes Polish people start to say everyone what they should think about the Holocaust, what is the history of Holocaust, and so on. And in fact, many of them have no idea what it was. In fact, they. The students, for example, there was a scientist research. The students, I think, in the Warsaw University, Uniwersytet Warszawski, they asked question: what was Bełżec? Yeah, that camp, and just 1% of students knew. And the rest have no idea. The place where all Małopolska Jews were murdered, over 400,000 of people, yeah? Or Sobibór, Treblinka. In our imagination, usually they have Auschwitz, Birkenau, and that's it. Yeah. So yeah. It's a lot of work must be done, and it will be easier for us to act because now we have some people. I never have someone against. Yeah, it don't works like this. Just the hate in internet or something like this. But no reaction for me in many situations is even worse because you realize that so many people don't care about it, yeah, about the memory, and as I said, even I am sure that there will be some cemetery where I will be alone. But now I know that I have a small family of people, not numbers, so I will never be alone. But there will be no local community, for example, and anyway we should do this because the memory of these all victims, they wait already 79 years after the action Reinhardt, yeah, where nearly all of them were murdered, and we need to act because otherwise the Holocaust witness, Holocaust survivors, they are disappearing. Yeah, they are dying, and this is very important also for the future. Yeah, in my case, I have children, 2 girls, and for me, I also do for them in my mind. Yeah, that maybe when we make this small step forward in the future, it will be a little bit easier to act in such ideas, yeah, to remember about them. Now I need to fight about the monument, for example, in our city. Maybe my girls will be fight about the different thing, not monument, but the right commemoration, yeah, which is next stage, yeah. And I think, yeah, we should do like this because what can we do? It's hard to change the world, like you said, that it's, I think, impossible. But we can change our backyard, yeah, our small homelands, and this is my idea, yeah. So yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hannah, I think we will appoint him as the ambassador of Israel in Poland.
לא שמעתי אותך.
I think we will appoint Dariusz as the ambassador of Israel in Poland.
No.
Ambassador in Poland.
It will, with the pleasure, but I don't know if it's possible.
No, you don't want. Even this is a part of politics, so.
Yeah, I know. It's a hard topic.
And then you will need to go to cocktail instead of walk in the cemetery. So
yeah.
Go on the kayaking and
exactly.
Okay, my friend Dariusz, thank you for being with us, and especially thank you for all what you and your friends
it's a pleasure
are doing. I'm sure that you gave us now, in the meeting that we have 4 weeks ago, the meeting we have now, and the meeting we will have in August, you will give us some ideas of visiting the area, doing project that we can do together in the future when we will return with our groups to Poland. Keep doing what you are doing, and I'm waiting to August to see you.
Yeah, it will be Yeah, great. I hope we will meet all together and we can speak a lot, not online, but in real world. So it will be great opportunity, and I hope this area where we act, the south of Poland, especially Podhale district, will be some new challenge also for you and some interesting things that we can show you there. Yeah, so I hope it will be good for you. I hope.
Okay, so we will be in touch. Thank you everybody for being with us. Thank you, Dariusz, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you.
See you next week for all of us, and we will speak, Dariusz, soon.
Thank you very much, and all the best to you.
Bye.